Welcome to the Rewards Master. Today we're going to talk about flight redemptions and getting a high cent per point. And particularly I'm going to highlight some redemptions I've already made for future flights and just kind of show what kind of outsized value is out there to be had. So if you would, hit the like and subscribe button and let's dive into this together. There's a lot of discussion on YouTube about cents per point, and there's a whole lot of different philosophies. And I want to start off the video today by saying this is the way that I do it is not in any way a judgment towards the way that anybody approaches the points and miles hobby. In fact, I think there are a lot of legitimate ways to do it, and it kind of depends upon a person's life circumstances, their stage of life, what kind of job they have, what kind of flexibility they have, what kind of spending they have. I mean, there's just a whole lot of factors that play into it. Well, in my particular situation, we're kind of empty nesters and don't have any kids at home, just my spouse and I, and we have somewhat of a flexible schedule. So because of that, we're able to go where we find good deals. And I think most people would agree that is the absolute most value that you're going to get when you let the destination be flexible and the date be flexible and you go where you find the deals. So keep that in mind as you're watching this. Not everybody will be able to do this. I have some family members and friends that have a less flexible job. They can't just choose their vacation time throughout the year. So if you're that way, perhaps a school teacher and you're kind of limited to just summer travel, there is hardly any way you're ever going to get these kind of cent per point values on your travel. But if you do have some flexibility, or if you're looking to the future about your travel as your life progresses and what it might be one day, then this can show you what incredible value the points and miles hobby can produce. So let's go ahead and dive in it together. So in the video, I'm going to highlight 4 different redemptions that I've already made for future flights, so they're set and ready to go. And then one potential that I might switch one of the ones that I've already booked because it's booked with American Airlines, so it's a booking that can be canceled right up to the time of the flight, get all the points, get all the money back for the taxes and fees. And I've just started doing that, which is kind of a new strategy on my part. So the last one I'm going to mention is not one that I booked, but one that we plan to start looking about 2 weeks ahead. And if we can work it out, we'll cancel the one, book that one, and go from there. Now, if you're going to do that strategy, kind of an important thing to remember is you got to have a big bank of points. You got to have kind of a stash of them, because if you're going to do that, you have to be able to make sure that you can book it before you cancel the other, or you might be left holding the bag with nothing. Because if you cancel first and then you go to book it and then they're sold out or the deal's gone, well then what do you have? So I think that's an important thing to remember before you try to do any last minute changes and to get the best last minute deal. You have to have the points to make it happen. And particularly with like American Airlines, they don't have any transfer partners. If you were doing it with United and you had a stash of Chase points, you could probably make that work. But when it comes to one of those programs that don't have a lot of transfer partners, you got to make sure that you have all the points in advance. So of the 4 that we're taking that are already booked, 2 of them are premium economy and 2 of them are business class. Now, kind of where we've landed on it now is we'll fly premium economy. Every now and again, we even fly economy if we're like going with family or friends or whatever it may be. But when we're going just the 2 of us, we fly premium economy sometimes if that's the best deal. And if it's not over about a 7 or 8 hour flight, if it's beyond that, it's business class or bust. So that's kind of our standard whereby we choose, are we going to fly premium or are we going to fly business? We always prefer business unless there's just a really smoking deal in premium economy. And if you don't know what premium economy is, it's big plush recliner type seats, a lot better service. It really is very close to domestic first class. So if you've ever gotten upgraded or walked by and seen those people flying in Delta first class in the United States or American or United, the premium economy overseas really looks like that. It's its own cabin in between the lay-down business class seats and the economy seats in the back. So what are our redemptions that I have booked? Well, the first one is on Virgin. It's Virgin Premium Economy from John F. Kennedy Airport, New York, over to London Heathrow. And we bought that when they had that amazing, when they devalued their whole program a few months ago. And for a little while, they were having some just absolutely smoking point deals. And I found these flights for 10,000 points in premium economy. Now, to find a 10,000 point flight, even to find an economy flight within the United States for 10,000 points is really, really difficult. The taxes and fees were up in the $150 to $200 range each, so that's certainly not great, but that's just what it is on Flying Virgin. But if you look at the value we're getting from this, it's pretty incredible. If you were to buy those seats outright, they're $913 a piece. And so we got them for 10,000 points each. So that yields a cent per point value of 9.1 cents per point. And we transferred those over from, I think we transferred a little bit from Citi and a little bit from American Express. So that makes those points worth 9.1 cents per point. Now, some are going to say on all of these redemptions, yeah, but would you actually pay that? And the answer is maybe $913. Maybe we would. Some of the others that get up in the thousands, no way. But I still think it's an accurate cent per point, at least from my estimation. And like we said, there's no right or wrong way. People have different ways of looking at it. But from my estimation, it is an actual cent per point because I feel like I'm getting that experience that's worth that value. So to me, I think these are true cent per point values. So that's the first one, that Virgin Premium Economy product over to London for 9.1 cents. Now, that kind of trip, if you're going to do something like that, we're going to have to get positioning flights into New York and stuff like that. So there is some hassle to it, but it's a pretty good redemption to fly over the pond in a really, really comfortable product. Now, the second one that we look at is, again, premium economy. This one is from Paris back to Houston, Texas, and it's on Air France, purchased with Air France miles. And this one we got for 35,000 points a piece through Air France. And I will tell you, if you're willing to fly premium economy, Air France has some smoking good deals, particularly this one. Now, when I tell you the price, you're going to say, it ain't worth that. And I agree. I would never pay this for a premium economy. I mean, we just said Virgin Premium Economy around $900. Well, on Air France, the price is a lot more. In fact, it's $3,383 if you were to buy this ticket with cash. $3,000. And so when you figure out the cent per point on that, that one is a 9.6 cents per point value of Air France miles to fly from over in Paris to Houston, Texas. So to me, that's just incredible. Now, is it worth $3,000? No, it's worth $1,000 or maybe $1,200, which you can sometimes find premium economy for about those prices. But that's still what they charge for it. So if you were going to pay it, so to me, that is a true cent per point value of 9.6 cents per point, which is just, to me, very, very awesome. The third one that we're going to look at is to fly from Boston in the United States to Abu Dhabi. And this one is on Etihad in their business class. And so Etihad business class is considered one of the best that there is. All those Middle Eastern carriers are really, really great. And so we're quite excited about this. Now, this is a pretty expensive flight, but we got it for what I thought was a little bit more than we normally pay for a business class flight, but still reasonable. We got it for 86.5 thousand points per person. So 86,000 points, that's a little more. Typically, we try to get business class flights between the 60 and 80,000 point range. So 86 is a little bit more, but it was worth it to us because we wanted to fly Etihad. We've never done that before. That sounds very, very exciting. But the cash ticket price on this was just through the roof. If you were to pay cash for it, it's $4,422. So a $4,000 flight. And would I pay that? Never would I pay that. But it's the kind of experience I would just never have without points and miles. So to me, the cent per point value is really a true cent per point value. And on this flight, it comes out to 5.1 cents per point. Now, on this one, we used Air France miles and we transferred over from American Express. So really, we're getting about 5.1 cents per point on our American Express points. So that Etihad flight from Boston down to Abu Dhabi. Now from there, we're planning to take a flight from Dubai, which is about an hour's taxi ride from Abu Dhabi. So after we stay there and explore Abu Dhabi and Dubai for a little while, then we're going to end up in Dubai and we're going to take a flight from there to Berlin in business class on Qatar. Now, I would love to tell you this is Qatar Q Suites, and maybe they'll change the aircraft by then and it will be, but it's not. As of right now, it's just regular Qatar business class. I'm still excited about it, even though it's not the Q Suites, which are supposedly the best business class product in the world. And I hope that that does change between now and then. But even if we fly their regular business class, we're excited because they have just a world-class service, the way we understand it. So we're very, very excited about that. Now, this one was an awesome, awesome deal because the points price just was super, super low. But the cash price, now it's lower than that Etihad flight was, but the cash price for this one is $2,236. $2,236. Now, if you were to try to look these up, they'll probably change by tomorrow and the next day and the next day, and they vary. But as of now, $2,236. And we paid with American Airlines points, 42.5 thousand points apiece. And that yields a very, very impressive 5.2 cents per point to fly on Qatar with American Airlines miles. So as you can see, all of these upcoming redemptions are above 5 cents per point, and 2 of them are above 9 cents per point. And that's the way we like to spend our points. Now, I was going to tell you, as I said in the beginning of the video, about a potential one. So that last flight on Qatar is kind of our backup. And so I thought it was still a great deal, but it's a backup because what we're going to plan to do is within a 2-week window, American Airlines gets access to first class on Etihad. And their first class price on Etihad is within 2 weeks or so is 62.5 thousand points for Etihad on their first class apartments. Now, if you haven't looked these up, there's a lot of videos about them on YouTube. You can. But the first class apartments on Etihad, you get your own apartment. And it has like a shower up there. I think it's a shared shower for this because it's not the residence, which has got its own shower and bathroom in there. But there's a shower that I think there's 9 different apartments up there. So 9 passengers total. You have a door, you go in, you have your own bed, you have your own recliner. I mean, it's just an incredible, incredible product from everything we've seen. And to be able to book that, so what we'd have to do is we'd have to fly from Abu Dhabi instead of Dubai. Like I said, they're about an hour apart, and go to France, in particularly Paris. And then we'd have to, if we wanted to go on to Berlin, we'd have to get kind of a last minute positioning flight from in Paris over to Berlin, which wouldn't be a big deal because there's Ryanair and all sorts of cheap options over in Europe. So what we're going to do is about 2 weeks out, we're going to be looking for this. Now, what would the point value be on that? Well, the price as listed today is $5,130. And since it's 62.5 thousand American miles each, that brings us to a cent per point value of 8.2 cents per point. This is why I often say that to me, the very best airline points are American Airlines. They are very, very valuable. Now, some would argue Alaska are as well, and I would agree, they are. I just don't have access to those, and I do have American points, so that's kind of the ones that I focus on. Now, in all of this, that's how we like to do the points and miles hobby, and that is we typically, if we're flying and it's a cheap flight, we just pay for it. We are not ones who are trying to get absolutely everything for free, cash out our points. I would not cash out points at 1 cent per point or even 1.5 cents per point. I don't even really cash out my points for flights at 2 cents per point. Now, when it comes to Like hotel programs, yeah, because Hilton points, you're just not going to get over 1 cent per point. True with Marriott and stuff. But when it comes to our transferable currencies, except for sometimes if we need it to top off transferring Chase to Hyatt, I save our transferable currencies for these aspirational big time flight experiences. And I try to get at least a bare floor minimum of 4 cents per point. Most of the time I'm shooting for 5 cents per point and above. And like we've seen here, I've given 2 examples, 5+ cents per point, to 1 example of 8+ cents per point for an incredible flight experience, and 2 examples of 9 cents per point. So I find this interesting, just this kind of very small sample size, but it seems like premium economy might be sometimes the very best cent per point value. Have you had that experience? I'd love to hear down below. Tell me about some of your redemptions you have coming up. Are they really good? What kind of cent per point are you shooting for? Do you do the points and miles game totally different? Do you try to have everything paid for? I know there are some creators on YouTube that are fantastic creators, and they have a totally different philosophy about it. They're perfectly fine at 1 cent per point because they want everything to be paid for and not have to pay for anything out of pocket. And that's a great way to do it too, depending on your life circumstance. So I'd love to hear what your opinions are about it, how you plan to do it, and go and fly and have a great time, because that's why this is the greatest hobby in the world, because you get to have experiences that you probably would have never had otherwise. If you would, please hit the like and subscribe button. I appreciate it a great deal, and we'll see you here next time.